Welcome to She is Resilient, a podcast for women on their healing journeys who are ready to start living their most authentic and empowered lives outside of survival mode. I'm your host, Tatiana, trauma and somatic therapist, as well as a holistic coach, and I'm on a mission to help more women heal their nervous systems. Each week, me and my guests are going to get real and vulnerable about the experiences that led us to becoming the empowered and resilient women we are today. You'll leave this podcast with the skills, knowledge, and inspiration to start creating the life you deserve. Because if another woman can do it, so can you. Welcome back to another episode of She is Resilient. Today I'm sharing with you all of my tips on how to have less painful periods and how to start cycle syncing so that you can start living your life according to what your body needs instead of pushing through on the days leading up to your period and during your period. So you might want to get out a pen and paper to write things down or just come back to this episode because there might be a lot to remember. So let's start with cycle syncing. First, what does it mean to cycle sync? So cycle syncing simply refers to changing your daily habits so that they align with the phases of your menstrual cycle. In order to do this, we have to understand the 4 phases of your cycle. And this is important because I think it's so mind-boggling that as girls and women, so many of us have not been taught about our cycles and the fact that we have 4 phases. I, like so many of you, had no idea that we had 4 phases of our cycle, and I thought we just got our period once a month and that was it. And I know I'm definitely not alone in this. So, I like to look at the 4 phases like the seasons. We have our menstrual phase, which is winter, then comes our follicular phase, which is spring, then our ovulation phase, which is summer, and our luteal phase, which is fall. Then after fall, we go back to winter, which is our menstrual phase again. So your menstrual phase is your period. And as you know, during this time, your energy is lower and your body needs more rest, gentleness, and slowness. This phase will only last about 5 days, so you want to prioritize rest as much as you can. Technically, the follicular phase overlaps with the menstrual phase, and it ends when your ovulation phase starts. So during this time, during your follicular phase, your estrogen levels slowly begin to increase and your energy is starting to come back. You can begin to use this time to engage in more movement or begin to start new projects or set goals and intentions for yourself. This is also when you might want to start doing a little more intense workouts. Once your follicular phase ends, which is around day 13, and this will be different for every woman, you start your ovulation phase. Now, this is when your estrogen levels are at its peak. So remember, we like to call this phase summer because it's when you're feeling your absolute best. Your hair is shining, your skin is great, you feel more social. So of course, you want to take advantage of this and use this time to schedule interviews, meetings, socializing with friends, or anything important that requires you to be on your A game. After ovulation, if fertilization didn't happen, aka you didn't get pregnant, your body begins to prepare for menstruation again. So this is the luteal phase, and during this time, you may start to experience premenstrual symptoms. So this is about 1 to 2 weeks before your period. Again, it's going to look different for every woman. So during this time, you want to start prioritizing self-care a little more. You may not have as much energy as you did in the past 2 phases. So you may want to do more gentle movement instead of hardcore workouts like you might in your ovulation and your follicular phase. Once the luteal phase ends, we're back in the menstruation phase, which is your period, and the cycle repeats. Now, if your hormones are imbalanced or your nervous system is severely dysregulated, you may not be experiencing these phases the way that I described them, or you may not even be getting your period each month. And I've talked about this before in another episode with my friend Lupe, but not getting your period or having severe PMS may be normal for a lot of women, but it does not mean that it's healthy. This is actually a sign that your hormones and your nervous system need support now. So, this is where nutrition and lifestyle come in. So, if you've never tracked your period before, I suggest beginning to track the first day of your period and the last day of your period each month. And I like to use an app called P Tracker. If you go to your app store and search P Tracker, you will see it come up, and the icon is a pink flower. It's completely free, and all you have to do is let the app know when you get your period and let the app know when your period ends. It's super simple. You can also log in the symptoms you're experiencing if you wanted to keep track of that too. So that's where I suggest you start first. Second, it's important to reduce your stress and regulate your nervous system because this will significantly impact your hormones and period symptoms. When your nervous system is dysregulated or when you're really stressed or anxious, your nervous system is pumping out stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, and we need these stress hormones when we're actually in danger, but we don't need them when we're just living our day-to-day lives. So, when we have a dysregulated nervous system and living in a constant state of fight or flight, the body and brain are pumping out unnecessary stress hormones. And when we have too much of these hormones, it's going to impact your entire body, resulting in severe period symptoms. So, step one is tracking your cycle. Step two is reducing your stress and regulating your nervous system. Step three is nutrition. If you follow me on Instagram, I talk about this all of the time. Food is medicine. And I shared with you recently my lemon ginger turmeric tea recipe, but I'll share it quickly with you here in case you're not already following me on Instagram, which if you're not, I would love to see you there. So, once I started to drink lemon ginger turmeric every morning, it absolutely changed the way that I experienced periods. I used to get really severe period cramps where I was on the floor curled up in a ball, couldn't move for hours. They were that bad. And if you try this recipe and stay consistent with it, you will notice a difference. And the key word is consistent. If you drink it once or twice, it may not do much for you. So here's what I do. It literally takes me about 5 minutes to make it so easy. I take 2 lemons, squeeze the juice into a blender, cut up ginger root about a thumb size, and take 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric and blend it all together. Then I filter out the pulp. This is optional. You don't have to filter it out if you don't want to. And I add the mixture into a freezer container so that I have about 6 ice cubes of lemon ginger turmeric. Then I freeze it overnight, and each morning I take out 1 ice cube and pour boiling water over it so that I drink it as a tea. And that's it. It's absolutely magic. But here's the best part. This isn't just for period cramps. I drink this because it's anti-inflammatory. So it's going to reduce the inflammation in your body, which will support your digestion, improve your immune system, give you more natural energy without needing to drink 5 cups of coffee, will improve your skin, and will make your body feel overall really good. So if you don't know, inflammation is what leads to disease. So we need to reduce the inflammation in the body. What causes inflammation? Stress, high processed foods, junk foods, fast foods, things that aren't healthy for us is going to increase the inflammation in the body. So in order to reduce the inflammation and prevent disease, we need to reduce stress and eat nutritious foods. So that's one way that I make sure I support my body to have less painful periods. The other thing that I do is make sure that I'm consuming lots of foods high in magnesium. So some of my favorites are spinach, salmon, avocados, dark chocolate, and black beans. I really like to make pasta with green sauce, and it's just spinach, avocado, olive oil, and a little bit of lime, and it's so delicious and really nutritious. So that's what I like to eat, but some of the other foods that are high in magnesium are almonds, pumpkin seeds, cashews, and brown rice. So make sure you're consuming foods high in magnesium because this will also reduce the inflammation in the body and it will increase blood flow, helping you have less painful periods. I also recently bought magnesium drops to add to my tea or water, so that's another option for you if you feel like getting it through food might be difficult for you. They also sell magnesium supplements. I personally don't like taking supplements through capsules because it makes me nauseous. So I try to get it through food, but the magnesium drops are also really great. With the magnesium drops, I barely taste anything. You can barely taste it, so you can add it to your smoothie or your tea or your water and you won't even notice that it's there. And the brand for that is Trace Minerals. I also purchased trace mineral drops from the same brand that has all the different micro minerals for extra hydration during the summertime. So that's that. And lastly, I feel like there's so much to say about this topic, but I'm really just giving you a quick overview of the basics. But the last thing that I want to share with you is the teas that I drink. So drinking herbal teas in general can be really helpful to reduce period cramps, but I drink raspberry leaf tea and spearmint tea combined. And what that does is it reduces inflammation and it increases blood flow to your uterus, helping you have less painful periods. So I drink the lemon ginger turmeric tea in the morning, have a nutritious breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I drink my raspberry leaf and spearmint tea at night. I do 2 bags of the raspberry leaf tea and 1 bag of the spearmint tea. The taste of the raspberry leaf tea isn't great, but having the spearmint tea with the raspberry leaf tea really helps with the taste. But if you really can't handle the taste, I just kind of try to keep the end goal in mind. This is significantly going to help my period cramps, and if I don't want to be in pain when I get my period, then I kind of have to just suck it up for that short period of time because I know it's healthy and I know it's good for me. So that's all for now. I hope you found this episode helpful, and if you enjoyed it, I would love for you to share it to your social media and don't forget to tag me. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you absolutely loved this episode, I would so appreciate it if you subscribed and left a review on Apple Podcast, or take a screenshot and share this episode on social media. Don't forget to tag me at tatiana.holistic.coach. The more nervous systems we reach, the more generational cycles we break, and the more we contribute to a kinder and safer world. And if you're looking for somatic healing services, send me a DM and I'd love to chat on how I can support you. I'll see you in the next episode.